भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य दिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधे जय जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा बलदेवा जय बलदेवा जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलेश्वर माई की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय श्री गोपाल हरे कृष्णा पुलिस माता यीस Welcome all of you, and thank you very much for joining this Srimad Bhagavatam session. So today we'll be discussing 3 verses from 4th canto, 14th chapter, verse number 21, 22, and 23. Tam sarvalokamara sangraham त्रयीमयं द्रव्यमयं तपोमयं यज्ञैर्विचित्रैर्यजतो भवायते राजन् स्वदेशान् अनुरोधुमर्हसि तं सर्वलोकामरयज्ञसङ्ग्रहं त्रयीमयं द्रव्यमयं तपोमयं यज्ञैर्विचित्रैर्यजतो भवायते राजन् स्वदेशान् अनुरोधुमर्हसि. Any one of you can recite the 3 verses?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, may I?
Yes, Madam.
Text 21. Tam sarvalokamara sangraham Traimayam dravyamayam tapomayam Yajnair vichitrair yajato bhavayate Rajan swadeshan anurodhumarhasi. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Synonyms word to word meaning. Tam, him, Sarvaloka, in all planets. Amara, with the predominating deities. Yajna, sacrifices. Sangraham, who accepts. Mayam, the sum total of the 3 Vedas. Mayam, the owner of all paraphernalia. Tapamayam, the goal of all austerity. Yajnehi, by sacrifices. Vichitrehi, various. Yajataha, worshipping. Bhavaya, for elevation. Te, your. Rajan, O king. Swadeshan, your countrymen. Anurodhum, to direct. Arhasi, you ought. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please hear the translation. Dear king, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with the predominating deities, is the enjoyer of the results of all sacrifices in all planets. The Supreme Lord is the sum total of the 3 Vedas, the owner of everything, and the ultimate goal of all austerity. Therefore, your countrymen should engage in performing various sacrifices for your elevation. Indeed, you should always direct them towards the offering of sacrifices. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. 22nd verse. Yajnena yushmat vishaye dujatibhir vitayamanen sura kalakarehe swishta sutushta pradishanti vanchitam tadhelanam narhasi veera cheshtitum. यज्ञेन युष्मत् विषये द्विजातिभिर् वितायमानेन सुराकलाहरेः स्विष्टा सुतुष्टा प्रदिशन्ति वाञ्छितम् तद्धेलनं नार्हसि वीरचेष्टितुम्. Any one of you can recite?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, shall I?
Yes, madam.
यज्ञेन युष्मद्विषये द्विजातिभिः पीतायमानेन सुरा कलाहरे स्तिष्ठा सुतस्ता प्रसिदन्ति वाञ्छितम् तद्धेनलां नार्हसि वीरचेष्टितुम्. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Word to word meaning. Yajnana, by sacrifice. Yushmat, your. Vishaye, in the kingdom. Dvijatibihi, by the Brahmanas. Vitaya manena, being performed. Suraha, all the demigods. Kalaha, expansions. Harehe, of the personality of Godhead. Suishtaha, being properly worshipped. Sutushtaha, very much satisfied. Pradishanti, will give. Vanchitam, desired result. Tat helanam, disrespect to them. Na, not. Harhasi, you ought. Veera, O hero. Cheshtutum, to do. Translation by Srivan Geshila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please hear the translation. When all the Brahmanas engage in performing sacrifices in your kingdom, all the demigods who are plenary expansions of the Lord will be very much satisfied by their activities and will give you your desired result. Therefore, O hero, do not stop the sacrificial performances. If you stop them, you will disrespect the demigods. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. We go to the 23rd verse. Vena uvacha Balisha batayuyam va adharme dharma maninah ye vrittidam patim hitva jaram patim upasate. Vena uvacha Balisha batayuyam va adharme dharma maninah ye vrittidam patim hitva jaram patim upasate. Anyone of you can decide?
Hare Krishna, may I?
Yes, yes, Babu.
Vinauvaच बालिशापदयूयं वा अधर्मे धर्ममानिनः ये वृत्तिदं पतिं हित्वा जारं पतिम् उपासते. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Word to Modi. Venaha, King Vena, Uvacha replied, Balishaha, childish, Bata, oh, Yuyam, all of you, Va, indeed, Adharme, in irreligious principles, Dharma Maninaha, accepting as religious, Yea, all of you who, Vrittidam, providing maintenance, Patim, husband, Hitva, giving up, Jaram, paramour, Patim, husband, Upasate, worship. Translation and purport is Divine Geshe Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation purport. King Vena replied, you are not at all experienced. It is very much regrettable that you are maintaining something which is not religious and are accepting it as religious. Indeed, I think you are giving up your real husband who maintains you and are searching after some paramour to worship. Purport. King Vena was so foolish that he accused the saintly sages of being inexperienced like small children. In other words, he was accusing them of not having perfect knowledge. In this way, he could reject their advice and make accusations against them, comparing them to a woman who does not care for her husband who maintains her, but goes to satisfy a paramour who does not maintain her. The purpose of this simile is apparent. It is the duty of a Kshatriya, of the Kshatriyas, to engage the Brahmanas in different types of religious activities. And the king is supposed to be the maintainer of the Brahmanas. If the Brahmanas do not worship the king, but instead go to the demigods, they are polluted as unchaste women. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Tadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutabadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagara Jatam Saganarunathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinavandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tata Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vineshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpata Rubescha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yonta Pravishya Mamavachi Imam Prasuptam Sanjeevayate Kila Shakti Dharasvadamna Anyam Cha Hasta Charana Shravanato Gadin Prananamo Bhagavate Shayatubhyam Mukam Karoti Vachanam Pangam Langvedagrim Satkrivadam Mande Pramam Madhavam Namo Vishnu Krishna Krishna Bhutali Shivati Mahavishka Swami Tiramani Namo Vishnu Krishna Krishna Bhutali Shivati Vidan Swami Tiramani Devu Shashwani Varsha Dishthani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Saraswati Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram So Hare Krishna Prabhu Mataji, thank you very much for joining and keeping the appointment with Krishna today. And today is 16th of July 2025. So 3 verses from 4th canto 14th chapter 21, 22 and 23. So this chapter is entitled Story of King Vena. Actually, we saw from the previous chapter, right? Actually, King Anga, his son is King Vena. King Anga is a very pious and wonderful king. But his king, this Vena, was a very notorious son. They tried to rectify him and everything. He tried everything possible, but it was of no effect. That's why King Anga then he left to the forest without notice to anybody. So now there was no king. So they tried to find King Anga, but they couldn't. So ultimately they had to, because as per the parampara, his son has to be the king, right? So they asked his mother, and then they installed this Vena as the king. But he was very notorious. So see, they are telling from the 21st verse. So normally those days, no, the kings were Rajarishis because they used to listen to the Brahmanas. No, they were wonderful, great Brahmanas. So with the mantras only they can kill anybody, right? They can revive the animals which are sacrificed. That is the power of the mantras. And they were very wonderful advices they used to give to the king, and accordingly they follow them. So they were trying to give this to King Vena. So the 21st verse, dear king, the supreme personality of Godhead, along with the predominant deities, is the enjoyer of the results of all the sacrifices, plants. Supreme Lord is sum total of the three Vedas, owner of everything, and the ultimate goal of all austerity. So they are telling the king, your countrymen should engage in performing of various sacrifices for your elevation, for the king to be elevated more. So you should always, therefore, you should always direct them towards offering sacrifices. So king's duty is to, because Brahmanas tell them to everybody to be towards service, offer sacrifice and everything. So the king's duty is to give them the facilities and perform the various sacrifices. That's how it has to be done, right? So see, the Supreme Personality of God, Lord Vishnu, is present in everyone's heart as a super soul, Paramatma. And he is the proprietor of all planets. And the enjoyer of the results of all the sacrifices. So you must see, actually in 493 it says that the Lord was personally present at the sacrifice made by King Prithu. In the 19th chapter, we can see fourth King Prithu Maharaj, very wonderful chapter. There, in that verse, he says the word Sakshat is very significant. That is, Prithu Maharaj was a Shakti Aveshara Avatara. Shakti Avesha Avatara, incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Actually, Prithu Maharaj was a living entity, but he acquired the specific powers from Lord Vishnu. Excuse me. See, Lord Vishnu is directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus belongs to the category of Vishnu Tattva. Now, Maharaj Prithu belongs to the Jiva Tattva. Now, Vishnu Tattva indicates God, whereas Jiva Tattva indicates the part and parcel of God. So, when God's part and parcel is especially empowered, he is called Shakti Avesha Avatara. So, Lord Vishnu is described here as Hari Ishvara. The Lord is so kind that he takes all the miserable conditions away from his devotees. Therefore, he is called Hari. He is described as Ishvara because he can do whatever he likes. He is the supreme controller. The supreme Ishvara Purushottama is Lord Krishna. So he exhibits his power as Ishvara or the supreme controller when he assures his devotees in Bhagavad Gita, right? 18.6 is abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. He can immediately make his devotee immune from all the reactions which are caused by the sinful life, no? If the devotee simply surrenders to him. He is described as Sarva Atma, meaning that he is present in everyone's heart as the super soul. So he is the supreme teacher of everyone. So the point to understand is if we are fortunate enough to take lessons given by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, then our lives, immediately become successful. No one can give better instructions to human society than Lord Krishna. That we must understand. He is a master. Krishna is a master and enjoyer of all the results of all sacrifices, right? And he is the supreme spiritual master also. See, Maharaj Prithu's advice to his citizens were to take to devotional service. But what about Vena? Totally opposite. So Maharaj Prithu, he has repeatedly advised persons who are the neophytes to engage themselves in devotional service according to the capacities of the different orders and social, according to Varna and Ashrama. But in fact, Maharaj Prithu, he specifically thanks those who are already engaged in devotional service to Supreme Lord. who is actually the enjoyer of all sacrificial ceremonies, right? See, there is a specific word in that verse is Gurum. This is in 4:21-36. The word in that verse is Gurum, which indicates the Supreme Personality as Chaitya Guru. So Supreme Personality Godhead in his Paramatma feature is present in everyone's heart, right? And is always trying to induce the individual soul to surrender unto him and to engage in devotional service. Therefore, he is the original spiritual master. That means he manifests himself as spiritual master both internally and externally. Why? To help the conditioned soul both ways. So therefore he is mentioned as Guru. See, it appears how that in the time of Maharaj Prithu, no, all the people on the surface of the globe were his subjects, right? So most of them, in fact, almost all of them were engaged in devotional service during Maharaj Prithu's time. Therefore, Maharaj Prithu, see what he, wonderful king, he thanked everyone in a humble way for engaging in devotional service and thus bestowing their mercy upon him. See, in a state where the citizens and the head of state are engaged in devotional service under the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they help one another and are mutually benefited. In Bhagavad Gita 3.9, it is said, Yajnatat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Right? That is, one should act or work only in order to please the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, one becomes entangled in the resultant reactions. So, according to the 4 divisions of Varna and Ashrama, these Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, they are especially advised to perform great ceremonial sacrifices and to distribute their accumulated money very liberally. So, we saw in this current verse which we are discussing, right? The Supreme Lord is the sum total of the 3 Vedas, owner of everything, and the ultimate goal of all austerity. See, in 3.7.28 purport, Prabhupada says, although Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, the 3 incarnations of material modes of nature, are the principal deities for creation, maintenance, destruction of the cosmic manifestation, they are not the final authority. The Supreme Personal Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the ultimate goal, the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karana. He is the Ashraya. That is the final rest of everything. In 10:47:33, Prabhupada says, Lord states that all the Vedic literature is meant ultimately to bring the soul to the point of controlling the mind and senses and fixing them in the self-realization, right? So the process of this so-called yoga, so-called yoga or mysticism or religion that involve unrestricted sense gratification, they are not actually spiritual process, but they are only some convenient ways for the foolish people, to justify their behavior, beastly behavior, Prabhupada says. See, like I was able to come across a very wonderful question and answer session by an Englishman and Prabhupada, through which we can understand so many things, which is the real goal of life. So just some essence from that and I'll share with all of you. See, Prabhupada, he says, this movement is especially meant to enable a human being to reach the real goal of life. This Krishna movement is meant to enable. So the question by the person is the real goal of life to know God? The Prabhupada's answer, yes. To go back home, back to Godhead. That is the real goal of life. Prabhupada says the water that comes from the sea, it forms clouds. The clouds fall down as rain. And the actual goal is to flow down the river and again enter into the sea. So we have come from God. And now we are embarrassed by material life. Therefore, our aim should be to get out of this embarrassing situation and go back home, back to Godhead. This is the real goal of life. 8.15 in Bhagavad Gita says, Mamupete punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gatyaha. That is the version of Bhagavad Gita 8.15, right? Krishna says, if anyone comes to me It does not come back again. If anyone comes to me, it does not come back again. Where? To this place. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This place is the abode of miseries. So everyone knows it. But they have been fooled, befooled by the so-called leaders. So material life is miserable life. Krishna says that this place is Dukkhalayam. It's a place of miseries. And it is also ashashvatam. It is temporary. See, you cannot make a compromise. All right, let it be miserable. I shall remain here as an American or an Indian. No, that also you cannot do, right? You cannot remain an American. You may think that having been born in America, you are very happy. But you cannot remain an American for long. You will have to be kicked out of that place. And your next life, you do not know. Therefore, it is dukkhalayam ashashvatam, miserable and temporary. Now the question was, when you have some knowledge of God, then life is not so miserable. He says, when you have some knowledge of God. So Prabhupada says, no, some knowledge will not do. You must have perfect knowledge. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vitti tattvataha. Tattvata means perfectly. Perfect knowledge is being taught in Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada says, we are giving everyone in human society a chance to learn the Bhagavad Gita as it is and make his life perfect. That is Krishna consciousness movement. The next question was, Prabhupada, it is said in science that energy is never destroyed. It is changed. So Prabhupada says, so how is the energy working in the future? That science does not know. How is the energy diverted? How by different manipulations is the energy working differently? This was counter question by Prabhupada. So he was giving an answer. Prabhupada was answering. For instance, electrical energy, right? By different handling, it is operating the heater and it is operating the refrigerator. They are just the opposite, but the electric energy is the same. So Prabhupada says, similarly, this energy, living energy, how is it being directed? Which way is it going? How is it fructifying in the next life? That they do not know. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it is very simply stated. Vasamshi jirnani yatha vihaya. You are covered by a shirt and coat. Right? You are covered by a shirt and coat. And when the shirt and coat is unusable, you change it. Similarly, this body is just like a shirt and coat. When it is no longer workable, we have to change it. So the question was, what is we that has to change? What is constant? Prabhupada said that is the soul. From one life to next, that is the soul. So the question, he asked the question, is my soul different from your soul? Prabhupada said, yes, you are an individual soul. I am an individual soul. Another beautiful question he asked. If two people are Krishna conscious, is their soul the same? Prabhupada said, the soul is always the same. In each person, it is the same. He says, Prabhupada said, the soul is the same, but always individual. Even if one is not Krishna conscious. See, for instance, you are a human being, and I am a human being. Even if I am not a Christian, even if you are not a Hindu, still we are human beings. Similarly, the soul may not be Krishna conscious, or he may be Krishna conscious. It doesn't matter, but the soul is the soul. Soul as spirit soul, right? All souls are equal, even in an animal. Therefore, it is said, Pandita Samadarshanaha. Those who are actually learned do not see the outward covering, either in a human being or an animal. So if the soul is inside me, then should I be able to feel God inside me? The next question was, if the soul is, they say soul is inside, right? Then I should be able to feel God inside me. But I don't feel God in me. But should I be able to feel God inside me since my soul is part of God? This is the question. Prabhupada said, yes, God is inside also. God is everywhere. God is inside and outside also. So this is to be known. So if, again, he was questioning, how do you feel God inside you? Prabhupada said, not in the beginning, but you have to know from the Shastras, by the Vedic information. Prabhupada gave the example in Bhagavad Gita 18.61, it said, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrid deshe arjuna tishtati. God is there in everyone's heart. Paramanu Chayantrastam. God is also within every atom. So this is the first information. So his question was, so what kind of yogic process must I do to find out, to feel the soul inside? Because there are many different yogic processes. But for this age, the process is chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada says, by this you will understand everything of God. How God is inside, how God is outside, how God is working. Everything will be revealed. So by this attitude of service, Krishna will reveal himself. You cannot understand Krishna by your endeavor. Only Krishna will reveal himself to you. Prabhupada gave an example. For instance, when the sun is out of your sight at night, you cannot see it by your torchlight, right? Or any light. No. But in the morning, you can see the sun automatically without any torchlight. Similarly, you have to create a situation. That means you have to put yourself in a situation in which God will be revealed. It's not that by some method you can order God, come, I will see you. God is not your order supplier. You must please God for him to reveal himself. So how do we know we are pleasing God? When we see him, then you will understand. Just as Prabhupada gives examples for everything, right? So nicely. Just as when you eat, right? You do not require to ask anyone whether you are feeling strength or your hunger is satisfied. Do you ask? No. You yourself know. So if you eat, you understand that you are feeling energy. You don't need to inquire from anyone. Similarly, if you actually serve God, then you will understand. God is dictating to me, God is there, I am seeing God. So you have to go through the God's Krishna representative. Yasya prasada bhagavad prasada. If you please God's representative, spiritual master, then automatically Krishna becomes pleased and thus you can directly see him. The next question was, how can we please the spiritual master? You have to carry out his orders. That's all. Krishna's representative is the Guru. He asks you to do this, to do that. If you do that, that is pleasing. So yasya prasada na gade kutopi. So if you displease the spiritual master, then you are nowhere. So the Guru is Krishna, is the Lord's representative. So Guru is the external manifestation of Krishna. And Guru must come in disciplic succession. And the Guru must have heard thoroughly about the Vedas from his spiritual master. So generally a Guru's symptom is that he is a perfect devotee. That's all. And he serves Krishna by preaching his message. Now, there's another question was, doesn't Krishna say in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the spiritual master? Well, yes, he is the original spiritual master because he was accepted as spiritual master by Arjuna. So what is the difficulty? Arjuna told the Lord, right? Shishyaste aham shadi mam tvam prapannam. I am your disciple, I soul surrendered to you. You, please instruct me. So unless Krishna is a spiritual master, how does Arjuna become his disciple? Krishna is the original Guru. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye. First canto, first chapter, first verse. It is he only who first imparted Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahma, the first created being. Therefore, he is the original Guru, Krishna. Original Guru. Then his disciple, Brahma is the Guru. Then Brahma's disciple, Narada is a Guru. Then Narada's disciple, Vyasa is a Guru. In this way, there is a Guru Parampara, disciplic succession of Gurus. Evam Parampara Praptam. So the transcendental knowledge is received through the disciplic succession. So Guru receives knowledge through the disciplic succession, not directly from Krishna. Yes, Krishna's direct instruction is there. Right? Krishna's direct instruction is there, Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita. But you have to learn it through disciplic succession. Otherwise, you will misunderstand it. So presently, you do not receive information directly from Krishna. It comes through disciplic succession from the books. That was the question. There is no difference. See, that the question was, see, you receive information directly. You don't receive from Krishna directly, right? It comes through the disciplic section from the books. Prabhupada says there is no difference. He says, suppose I say that this is a pencil. If you say to him that this is a pencil, and if he says to another man this is a pencil, what is the difference between his instruction and my instruction? Same. This is disciplic succession. as it is, right? So you can take, see, Krishna's mercy also, provided it is delivered as it is. Purpose is just as we are teaching Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita 18.6 is, Krishna says, Sarva dharmam parityaj mam ekam sharanam vraja. Just give up all other forms of religion and simply surrender to me. So we are saying that you should give up everything, surrender to Krishna. Therefore, there is no difference between Krishna's instruction and our instruction. There is no deviation. So if you receive knowledge in that perfect way, that is as good as receiving instruction directly from Krishna. We don't change anything. Another question you ask, if I pray very fervently, faithfully, does Krishna hear me? Yes. Because he is within your heart, he is always hearing you. Whether you are praying or not praying, right? When you are doing some nonsense, he is also hearing you. And when you pray, that is very good. Welcome. Prabhupada says. He is all perfect. He can hear everything. Even if you don't speak, even if you simply think, I shall do it, then he hears you. Sarvasichaham hridhi Vishnu. Krishna is seated in everyone's heart. So the question was, that means one should pray, right? Yeah, that is only business, praying. Whose business? Every living entity. This is only business. That is the statement of the Vedas. See, so Krishna supplies everything to everyone, right? He's supplying food to everyone. He's the father. So why should you not pray to him? Father, give me this. See, the Christian, they say, no, Father, give us your daily bread. That is good. Prabhupada, that is good. They are accepting the Supreme Father. But the grown-up children should not ask from the father, rather, right? Should not, when he's grown up, he should not again give me food. They should be prepared to serve the father. That is bhakti, that is devotion. So when all the brahmanas engage in performing sacrifice in your kingdom, so the sages are saying, all the demigods who are the plain expansions of Lord will be very much satisfied by their activities and will give you the desired result. So all civilized men must participate in sacrificial performances, give charity, and study Vedic literature. Right? This is very, very important. So the point is that without assistance of qualified brahmanas, the lower classes cannot properly study the Vedic literature, right? Or perform sacrifice giving charity. Because they don't have the record intelligence to perfectly execute such functions. So when Kshatriyas and Vaishyas take shelter of bona fide brahmanas, they're able to properly execute their duties, right? So that's why we should take the advice of brahmanas. King has to take the advice. See, when Lord Brahma, Balram, went to the holy place of Naimisharanya, the sages there, no, and brahmanas, they all stood up to receive him. They understood that Lord Balram, although Kshatriya, was now retired from the fighting business. So brahmanas and sages, who were always for peace and right, they were very pleased at this. So all of them embraced Balram with great affection and induced him to perform various kinds of sacrifices in that sacred spot of Naimisharanya. Actually, Lord Balram had no business performing sacrifices recommended for ordinary human beings, right? He is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he himself is the enjoyer of all such sacrifices. But his exemplary action in performing was only to give a lesson to the common man, to show how one should abide by the injunctions of the Vedas. So sages told King Vena, when all the Brahmanas engage in performing sacrifices in your kingdom, all the demigods who are planning expansions of the Lord will be very much satisfied by their activities and will give you your desired result. They said, so do not stop the sacrifice performances. If you stop them, you will disrespect the demigods. They are telling King Vena. See, the demigods, being like other living entities in the middle world, no, they're all they will also be in the time during due time annihilated. When the annihilation takes place, they are also gone, right? They are themselves unable to get liberation. So what to speak of giving liberation to the devotees? So 1 to 26 purport Prabhupada says, so demigods can award the worshippers some temporary benefit only, not the ultimate one. So it is for this reason only that candidates for liberation, they don't worship the demigods, although they don't disrespect any one of them. That is very important. So Prabhupada says, we do not say anything about any particular section. We are speaking about God. God does not belong to any section. When Krishna says that there should be 4 divisions, Chaturvarnyam Maya Shishtam. Now, Krishna does not say that these divisions should be in the Hindu society or only in India only. He never says so. So why they take it as Hindu? Krishna does not say that it is meant for Hindus. If Krishna says that I have created the sun, does it mean the sun is created only for India or Hindus, not for other places? Foolishness, right? So whatever is spoken by Krishna, that is meant for everyone. All of them. That is real understanding. See, the demigods, they are empowered administrators of the material affairs. They supply the supply of air, light, water, all of the benefits for maintaining the body and soul of every living entity is entrusted to the demigods. And they are innumerable, right? In different parts of the body of the Supreme Personality Godhead. So their pleasures and displeasures are dependent on the performance of yajnas by the human being. So some of the yajnas are meant to satisfy particular demigods. But even in so doing, Lord Vishnu is worshipped in all the yajnas as the chief beneficiary. This we have to understand. It is also stated in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna himself is the beneficiary of all kinds of yajnas, right? Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. The fifth chapter, last verse, 26. So ultimate satisfaction of Yajnapati is the chief purpose of all yajnas. So when these yajnas are perfectly performed, naturally the demigods in charge of the different departments of the supply, they are pleased. And therefore there is no scarcity in supply of natural products. So performance yajnas has many side benefits, ultimately leading to liberation from material bondage. So by performance of yajnas, all activities become purified. As it is stated in the Vedas, Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhihi Sattva Shuddhau Dhruva Smritihi Smriti Lambhe Sarva Grantinam Vipramoksha. See, by performance of yajna, one's eatables become sanctified. And by eating sanctified foodstuffs, one's very existence become purified. So by the purification of existence, the finer tissues in the memory become sanctified. And when memory is sanctified, one can think of the path of liberation. And all these combined together lead to Krishna consciousness, the great necessity of present day society. See, the first thing we should remember is the supreme absolute truth. Krishna is one without the second. For his own enjoyment, he expands, right? And Krishna expands in two ways. The first expansions are Vishnu Tattvas, and Vishnu Tattvas are non-different from the supreme absolute truth Krishna. See, they are qualitatively and quantitatively same as Krishna. But even then, the original supreme absolute truth always remains original in the name of Krishna. How to understand this? Prabhupada gives a very nice example in Brahma Samhita. He said there may be one candle lighted originally. All other candles are the same quality and same quantity. But even then, the original candle which is lighted first remains the original candle. This is how we should be very clear regarding the different expansions of Krishna in the form of Vishnu Tattvas. The most important thing is to remember that these expansions are equally powerful as Krishna himself. And the second type of these incarnations or expansions are separated expansions. And separated expansions are known as Jiva Tattva expansions. For example, Brahma, Indra, Varuna, all of the demigods, nearly 33 crores, they're all separated expansions. The separate expansions are not as powerful as Krishna. They are created for a certain job. And as soon as that job is finished, they are also finished. But Vishnu Tattvas, they never are created and they never are born. There is no death for the Vishnu Tattvas. For example, Balrama is known as Ram, Narasimha, Varaha. All these expansions, they have the same quality, the same quantity. But even then, Krishna remains the supreme absolute truth. So very correctly in Brahma Samhita, Brahma repeats the truth, right? Brahma himself very well know that he said, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. See, to perform any activity successfully in devotional service, we should give up the sense of proprietorship. For example, the act of giving charity The act of giving charity is to decrease our proprietorship over the hard-earned money and increase our dependence on Krishna. But our mind is so tricky that even while performing charity, we invariably think, I am giving my wealth to Krishna. I am giving my wealth to Krishna. Especially when we are in a comfortable situation with a good bank balance, good job, house, car, we fail to remember where we were in the past. We should always remember our past struggles and Krishna's mercy upon us in those trying circumstances also, right? Which has led to the current comfortable life. We should remember those things. In this regard, there is a beautiful example in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Again, Prithu Maharaj was so famous as a powerful king. He ruled the whole world immaculately and was filled with all good characters. During his reign, the whole world was filled with joy, wealth, peacefulness. Due to his purity, he was able to do 99 Ashwamedha yajnas. And all the demigods, Lord Vishnu himself appeared in those sacrifices. Last but not the least, the great sons of Brahma, 4 Kumaras, who are not easily seen by the mundaners, they descended in his palace and instructed him the matter of self-realization. See, in fact, of all these glories, Prithu Maharaj was so humble in describing his position in 4:22:43. He says, my dear Brahmana, you have carried out the order thoroughly because you are also as compassionate as the Lord. It is my duty, therefore, to offer you something. But all I possess are but remnants of food taken by great saintly persons. What shall I give? See, Prithu Maharaj remembers his roots. He originally manifested from the body of King Vena after his death by the mystic efforts of the great sages. The sages presented him with all the paraphernalias and the authority to rule the entire world. See, just like when a beggar comes to our house, we give him the remains of the food taken by us. In the same way, Prithu Maharaj also feels as if he is a beggar, given the remnants of the food taken by powerful sages. So, this humility of accepting the fact that we do not deserve what we possess, is the first step in giving up the proprietorship over our possessions. But we are clinging to it. But Prithu Maharaj also tells in the verse, therefore, my dear Brahmanas, my life, wife, children, home, furniture, and household paraphernalia, my kingdom, strength, land, especially my treasury, are all offered unto you. So simply remembering that nothing is ours is not enough. Simply remembering that nothing is ours is not enough. Simultaneously, we should offer or engage everything that belongs to us in the service of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice example in this connection. This offering is just like the servant's offering of food to his master. Right? We offer, right? It's just like the servant offering the food to his master. See, the food already belongs to the master. Because the master has purchased ingredients. But the servant preparing the food makes it acceptable to the master and thus offers to him. So all we possess is only borrowed plumes. Krishna may withdraw them any moment. So let us humbly pray at the lotus feet of Guru, Prabhupada and Krishna, that let us always remember this fact and return back to Krishna whatever we have borrowed in this life from him before he takes it away forcefully. In Bhagavatam 3:9-23, Brahma prays very nicely. The Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, is always the benefactor of the surrendered souls. His activities are always enacted through his internal potency, Rama, or the goddess of fortune. I pray only to engage in his service in the creation of the material world, and I pray that I may not be materially affected by my works, for thus I may be able to give the false prestige of being the creator. See, what should be our actual prayer? See, all of us we are in the deepest and darkest regions, right? We should have some prayers. The good thing is that we should direct all our prayers to Krishna. Now, Shukadeva Goswami instructs in this regard in Bhagavatam 2:3-10. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo udaradihi tivrena bhakti yogena yijeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole. Study about it. See, but these prayers directed to Supreme Lord must have one qualification, and that is the word Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. They must be focused only on Krishna. And if they are really focused on Krishna, then the motives behind the prayers must give way to glorification of Krishna. Because if you are really approaching Krishna as Brahmaji is approaching, then we have to approach Krishna through his internal potency. So Krishna is attracted to us on the basis of our bhakti. If we mix that bhakti with material intentions, then even though we open the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, it will not reveal itself to us. Shukadeva Goswami makes it a point to explain right at the very start that no one can turn around and question later, how come you did not explain this? So the very first verse of Bhagavatam establishes the supremacy of Krishna. Janmadhyasya yataha. There is no one else except Krishna. Krishna is all in all for us. But immediately the second verse, he makes it very, very clear that in order for us to approach and understand the supremacy of Krishna, there is only one way in which we can accept Bhagavatam into our lives, and that is by Dharma Projita Kaitavo Atra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. This is second one, 1, 2. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. So, we must reject any semblance of material fruitive intentions in our study of Srimad Bhagavatam and devotional service. The moment there is a thread running through, no, of any motive, it will cause disturbance. The reason for disturbance is that we are not approaching Bhagavatam in the correct way. We do not have to blame anyone. Right? Blame game stops with us. Otherwise, we have thousands of reasons to tell why we are not coming to Srimad Bhagavatam. The question we have to ask ourselves is whether we are rejecting everything else to come to Bhagavatam. So if we try to do that without material intentions, then three things happen when we sit down to read Srimad Bhagavatam. It is given in 4, 30, 35. When pure topics of the transcendental world are discussed, members of the audience forget all kinds of material hankerings, at least for the time being. Not only that, they are no longer envious of one another, nor do they suffer from anxiety or fear. So when we come together to glorify Krishna, then if Krishna is pleased, three things will happen to us. One, we forget all kinds of material hankerings. Now we don't think of anything material right now. No. Second, we are no longer envious of one another. Are we? We're not envious. We don't want anything. We're not hankering for anything material now. We no longer envious of one another. And third, there is no anxiety or fear. So when we come for programs, these three things happen. We are not having any material anchorings. We are no longer envious of one another. There is no anxiety or fear. The challenge is to keep these things going after we leave this room. After the program is over, after this session is over, how do we continue this? How are we going to do that? Brahma is giving the answer. This is the beauty of Bhagavatam, that for every Bhagavatam statement, there is a devotee who shows us his behavior. So it is our duty to follow in the footsteps of that devotee. Not to make a statement, but to live that statement. This is Bhagavatam. Otherwise, we will always remain on the theoretical level. Then we wonder, why I am chanting for 10 years, there is no taste. Why there is so much anxiety? Why is it a struggle to get up for Mangalarati? While I know that life is short term, why I am making so many long term plans? Let us try to understand and follow the mood of Lord Brahmaji, not taking credit for anything, knowing that we are only instruments in the hands of the Supreme Lord Krishna. See, all religious principles, which are opposed to the principle of surrendering to Krishna, are to be considered religious principles of irregularity or cheating. Right? So one should simply follow the instructions of Krishna and surrender to him. So to do this, one needs very good intelligence, and that intelligence may be awakened after many, many births through good association with devotees and the practice of Krishna consciousness. So we are in the journey now. This is also part of that. So then we get the intelligence to surrender. So everything but the principle of religion recommended by Krishna, Sarva Dharma Pratyaja, should be given up as religion. Anything else other than Krishna. So King Vena was so foolish, He was accusing the sages that they are small children, inexperienced. Right? He was advising them, comparing them to a woman who does not care for her husband, who maintains her, but goes to satisfy paramour who does not maintain her, right? So King Vena, he declared that whatever you Brahmanas, they are all doing is nonsense. What is this? No more worship of God, no more sacrifice, no more charity, stop all this. No more offering oblation to fire, sacrifice. So this business was meant for Brahmanas. So he's restricting the Brahmanas. Don't do all this nonsense anymore. In this way, stop all religious activities. That's what the sages are trying to convince him. Right? Shanvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana 1 to 17. Krishna is Paramatma, right? In everyone's heart. He is a benefactor of the truthful devotee. He cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So Punya Shravana Kirtana, anyone who hears Hare Krishna, he becomes pious simply by hearing. He becomes purified. At a stage, he will accept. But people then think that, now what is this Hare Krishna chanting? See, if you give them this yoga, some work, they will be very much pleased, right? So they want to be cheated. They're cheated. So the point is, they say, no, yes, you take this mantra, give me this 100 rupees. Within 6 months, you will become God. You will have 4 hands. So we want to be cheated. Prabhupada says, cheating process is one of the item of conditional life. There are 4 defects of conditional life. One defect is that we commit mistakes. Another defect is that we accept something, right? Just like committing mistake, that is not very difficult to understand. Every one of us have, however, we commit mistakes, blunder. So accepting something as fact, which is not a fact, right? This body is myself, but I am not this. I am not this body. This is called delusion. This is the second defect. The best example is accepting a rope as a snake. In the darkness, no, there is a rope. You think that this is the best, it's like a snake. This is illusion. This is the second defect. Third defect is that we want to cheat and we want to be cheated. We are very expert. Always thinking, how shall I cheat somebody? Right? Thinking. So the whole conditioned life is the association of cheaters. So this is another defect. The fourth defect is that our senses are imperfect. There are all knowledge we receive is imperfect knowledge. See, a man may speculate, but he may speculate with his mind. That's all. But his mind is imperfect. He will produce something nonsense because his mind is imperfect. So, how to use the transcendental knowledge in our day-to-day life? We are living in an anti-health atmosphere. Right? Early to bed, early to rise has become almost impossible due to our increasing mental engagement. So, despite this mental engagement, if we still engage ourselves in Krishna service, it is tapasya. So, you have to endeavor for that. Then we'll be able to control ourselves. So, this is very important. See, in 2.60, Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind, or even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. See, it is very difficult to control the mind and senses without being fully Krishna conscious. Without engaging the mind in Krishna, one cannot stop the mental engagements. When we take a look at the life of the Goswamis, right from the day when they were serving for the Muslim Nawab, right? The Goswamis initially, they were serving the Nawabs. They were very performing their duties in spite of their intense hankering. They wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and surrender their lives fully to him. So they were extremely eager and anxious to serve Mahaprabhu. And they sent so many letters to Mahaprabhu expressing their desire. But Mahaprabhu replied by quoting a verse from the scriptures. Yes, he said, if a woman is involved with a man other than her husband, she may try to be especially diligent in her household duties. In this way, she seeks to avoid detection. Within her heart, however, she is always longing to be reunited with her paramour. So Goswamis understood what the Lord meant. So they rendered their worldly duties with greater attention, at the same time continued their sadhana very sincerely. So pleased by the way they were engaging their minds in devotional service, the Lord made all the necessary arrangements for them to give up their material engagements. So to apply this point in the current context, we should start from leading a regulated life, be it school, college, job, family. See, to pass in our exams in our school and college, it is necessary to wake up early and complete the day's assignments promptly. Correct. It will reduce unnecessary tension. And also will let us to do a quality work of assignment, all the assignments. Procrastination is a thief of time. We should practice this habit in our work by doing our work very clean, diligently. See, some smart people are welcome everywhere, right? And as devotees, we need to follow the perfect examples of Goswamis, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and all the Acharyas in our parampara. In the purport to verse 1517, Prabhupada explains the difference between regulated and unregulated. Those who are engaged simply in bestial sense gratifications without knowledge of the next life or spiritual salvation belong to the non-regulated section. And those who follow the principles of prescribed duties in the scriptures are classified amongst the regulated section. In non-regulated section, both civilized and non-civilized, educated and non-educated, strong and weak, are full of animal propensities. Their activities are never auspicious because enjoying the animal propensities of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating, they perpetually remain in material existence, which is always miserable. On the other hand, those who are regulated by the scriptural injunctions and thus gradually rise to Krishna consciousness, they certainly progress in life. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जनिता गौतम हरि बोल, वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो। Thank you for this giving me this opportunity to glorify the Lord and purify ourselves. If you have any questions or anything to share which you feel very useful for you to put into practice in your daily life so that you can improve your behavior and make your life blissful and happy, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. That was
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
excellent class, Prabhuji, as usual.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji,
Mataji.
that you told that the Lord states that in all Vedic literatures, what is meant for is to bring the soul to the point of controlling mind and senses, and fixing them in the transcendental realization, means in Krishna consciousness. Our whole business is to be in Krishna conscious. That point is very nice, Prabhuji. And one more thing,
Yes.
Prabhuji, you mentioned that Ahara Shuddhi, that shloka where we can see, Prabhuji, reference.
Just a minute. I don't reference. Let me see. Did I say the number? I don't know.
No, you did not say, but it is very
Did I
nice,
say the number?
Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'll get it for you, Mati. I'll share in the group. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
wonderful session, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I failed to recollect the third point where we are attending or in some spiritual process. We are free from material activities. We don't envy anybody. And the third one is
No anchoring. Yes, anybody who had noted down? No fear and anxiety.
yes,
No,
yes,
no,
yes.
not envious, no anxiety, and no fear,
Correct.
And thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
and no
Krishna.
hankering,
Hare Krishna.
no material
Yes.
hankering.
You can relate yourself, right? You are in this program for 1 hour. You did not have any mental anchoring. You are not envious of anybody. And there is no fear or
And there was
anxiety.
no fear and anxiety.
Only thing this way to carry after the class is over. That's it.
So many pearls, Prabhuji. Each word of what you spoke was a valuable and invaluable pearl, Prabhuji.
So,
You
Prabhupada,
just have to carry it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mother Gurudev.
And I
Hare
just
Krishna.
realized the journey, you're showing us the path, but where we have not even touched the first step, Prabhuji. The journey is so long and to purify, it's a nice journey, but
Thank you. Yes, that is
thank
a
you.
good point. Nice journey. This is very good. Thank you.
Thank you for guiding us, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
And setting an
Gurudev, please share your thoughts.
example, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anything else? Anybody else want to any questions? Anything to share? Okay, thank you very much, Mother. Yes, we stop here now. We'll meet 10 o'clock the class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There is one doubt, Prabhuji. You told that Vishnu Tattva, they do not perish. That's what you told, no, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Are they still there, Prabhuji? In which
No,
form
they are
are
all
they available?
expansions. They are all expansions, like Balram, Nrsimha, Varaha. They are the expansions of Krishna. So they are not separated expansions. So that's why they're almost as good as Krishna only. Right? The difference, qualitative and quantitative, they are as good as Krishna. But they are expansions of Krishna expands himself in that man. So it is from him only. Whereas separated means Jiva Tattvas. That's the point, Mother. I hope it is useful.
Yes, Prabhuji.
It's just like the example was given by Prabhupada, right? The candle. Original candle is always original.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, the example of Prithu Maharaj is so good, Prabhuji. I wish
Yes.
our leaders follow and have some Krishna conscious person about to guide all of us.
True. Prithu, yeah. Not King Vena. King Vena is totally different.
Yeah, we are having way more of Venas.
Yes. Yes. Correct, Mother. Absolutely true. He's more
Only
Vena.
Venas. I cannot even imagine that all these 70 years and our history books have to be changed now. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, we are
Hare
having
Krishna.
a class. Just there is a news just coming in. Schools in Uttarakhand, they are due to have Bhagavad Gita classes.
Jai. Hari Bol. Very nice. Wonderful.
Yeah. So
Good,
hopes
good.
are there still. So not to.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, they start. It is there. The point is, people are in the media, whatever it is, they are only putting the wrong things outside. The whatever good things, they never come out. That's the problem. Whatever, if they see the newspapers, the news, all bad things only are coming out. Violence. There's so many good things happening. Why don't they show that?
Exactly.
In fact, they should stop showing the bad things. More and more good things are shown. People then Ahar, Shuddho, all the intelligence become pure and purified and better. Then people will start thinking better. Now, because we are all seeing all the wrong things, they do that is already there in the mind. That only gets inside. In fact, we should stop seeing those. That's the problem. They will not stop showing it. We should stop now seeing that.
Same like this
So this is the
movies
point.
and all this, the music and all nowadays. The background music has become the front, and there is no lyrics.
Yeah, we are not able to hear anything. Correct.
And
They
we
are
can
supposed to be supporting the song. Correct.
absolutely.
Whereas the singer has to sing louder. Really, it's like it's too much noise,
Yes.
Whereas if you see they sing the classical music and all, so blissful, you feel something. Well, otherwise it's just for dance purposes. That's the point.
So it has
If you
gone
want
to
to dance, have music, come to Krishna conscious, no? The
right.
Kirtan, you can dance, have prasadam. Prabhupada says, dance, chant, and be happy. Have prasadam.
No, the more it goes to that extreme. So people have the realization. They comes to the the Krishna consciousness. All the spiritual things are also growing
Correct.
in other side.
True. Absolutely true.
Everything has their own end, So
Yes.
the bad things had to have the end somewhere. So it's ending.
That's true. Yeah, correct. But we should also put our efforts by expanding, telling about Krishna consciousness, giving them more and more. They may take it or not, it doesn't matter, but we should make that endeavor by calling them into our homes or having a program in your area, just or distributing books or prasadam. Best is calling them for a small program and distributing prasadam. Don't talk about Krishna only, but Krishna prasadam if you give, it will have its effect. So this is how we can. Okay, thank you very much, Mataji. Short over the time.